Maybe with Burrow's changeup, is that a case of maybe the fastball got hit first and then that ball was after, or what do you attribute it to?
Yeah, it was, they ambushed the fastball early, got to it, and maybe went to a few too many times there with the changeup and left a couple up. I thought Seegers didn't stay up. It was a good swing. Just didn't have they ambushed the fastball early and then ended up going to the changeup, and they got a couple of those too.
DK, I know it's hard to. I know it's early in the game. There's 9 innings to pitch, but when you kind of spot the other team 2 runs that quickly, how hard is it to bounce back from something like that?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job against DeGrom. They're, getting down too early, and then they get the third, and to fight back, load the bases, have some really good at bats there. I mean, you see the stuff that he's got. He's running it up to 100 and locating and throwing all his off speed off of that. And thought we had some really good at bats. I mean, shoot, we hit some first 3 innings. We smoked some balls. Garcia made 2 great plays in the outfield, and Kutch crushed one at Seager. So I felt like we were having good at bats and barreling some balls, got some guys on base, and came through there, later on, but just couldn't get enough.
What was your read on what happened there with O'Neill in first?
Yeah, he came in and missed it, and in that moment, nobody feels worse than O'Neill does. I think that something that we talk about is, we're gonna misplay balls, right? That's gonna happen. How do we react to it in the moment and then react after? And we talked about it, him going after it. If it gets by him, sometimes you're not going to get it, but to go. And I think when you look at the rest of the game, the play almost made in center field, and they hustled after it. The ball that in left center, where him and Canario are both going hard after that ball. O'Neill just the energy, the effort, the rest of the game, getting down the line. I thought he made a good adjustment there and played hard the rest of the way, which is the expectation going forward.
Is that something you addressed with him immediately after, or when you talked to him about it?
Yeah, we talked about it. He led off that first inning, so just tough to, in that moment do it. But we had a conversation.
What did you see on the play with him and Canario in the 5th? You addressed it a little bit there, but or the 7th, where it looked like Canario slipped a little bit.
Yeah, they were both going after. It split the gap. They were both going hard after it, and they're both trying to make a play on that ball, and it looked like Canario slipped trying to get that ball in.
What happened to Baraki there in the 9th inning?
I think it's just a lower back type thing. Didn't get too much information there. I'll probably get more later when I get back.
Was it something he was trying to pitch through?
Yeah, I mean, he felt it a little bit there within the pitch before, and then we went back out there. Just something not to push, to try to keep going through.
Donnie, that play with O'Neill, I mean, somebody could look at that and say, the manager needs to make an example out of him, sit him down, bench him. You obviously didn't do that. You had a reason to do that, or to keep him in the game, to keep with his confidence. Just what was your reasoning for keeping him in the game at that point?
Keeping him in the game, I think that all players, deserve the opportunity to make the adjustments and have conversations like that. I feel like O'Neill's effort has been good recently in how he's been playing, and I think we saw that the rest of the game, how he got after it, and I think that he deserves a chance there, and finding a way to make that adjustment. As you go, if it continues like that, then something that we're going to have to address in a different way. But I thought he handled it well the rest of the game, and played hard and did the things he was supposed to. I mean, shoot, if he makes that play in center field, everyone's talking about how great of a play it was, and he ran into the wall and everything and bounced off the wall and went and got that ball. So I think that everybody's earns the opportunity to make an adjustment.
As a follow-up to O'Neill's Cruz's play, do you stress fundamentals with him on many of those plays? I see bad fundamentals.
Yeah, we talk about fundamentals all the time and working on it every day. As far as the routine stuff goes, I think that for the most part, the guys have done a pretty good job of that recently. We played some pretty good baseball, especially against some really good teams too. And played some pretty strong defense, I think, and it's something that we work on every day to get better, and always will continue to work on to get better at it.
DeGrom was pretty heavy on the slider usage early in the game until about the 5th inning. Any concern about being pitched to on the slider and curveballs so far this year?
He's just so tough any way you cut it. The arsenal that he has, being able to go to that slider, and then he's dialing it up to a 99, 100, and his command is really good too. He's an elite pitcher, and especially when you talk about the off-speed pitches that he can throw up there as well.
Pointing back to the 2-out rally you guys had against him in the fourth, obviously Canario goes down looking at strike three. When you guys are building your game plan for specific teams, do you look at things like what the opposing catcher can do when it comes to stealing strikes or anything like that? Because Jonah's been known to be a good pitch framer in the past.
Yeah, Jonah's good. A lot of catchers are. It's staying within our approach and finding ways to battle. I mean, sometimes when you're looking at pitches that are elite pitch framers, if you will, Jonah, Hedges is like that. Just finding ways to battle. I mean, you're also talking about throwing pretty hard on that outside corner, and in those instances, we've got to try to find a way to get a piece of it and battle. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and they make a good pitch, and the catcher frames it, and it's called a strike.
Canario had that rocket in the ninth inning, but otherwise he's been slumping a fair bit over the last couple of weeks. What have you seen out of him, and what does he need to do to get out of that?
Yeah, he's been working with the guys and working on some adjustments. He needs to continue to do that. I think that staying on the fastball is key for him. Finding ways to have his timing for the heater, and especially against a guy like DeGrom, who is gonna challenge you with it, and then go to the off speed like you talked about. If you can get the fastball early, maybe you don't get to the off speed, but he needs to continue to work on getting on that fastball.
Thank you.